The Austrian army has surprised with the announcement of a possible global blackout at any time in the next 5 years, and 10 EU countries have asked the EU to include uranium as a green energy source. Even Great Britain wants nuclear energy as a backup for its energy transition. Is there a growing awareness that the renewables that the energy transition is leading us to are not enough to meet our demand? How would this affect the energy market? %50 of uranium-producing companies lose money with uranium below $50 per pound. This is very important in companies that at current prices find themselves losing money. The uranium pound peaked in 2007 when it touched $137. We have not yet entered the intense phase of the bull market, and taking into account the waves of liquidity that have poured into the economy in recent years, it would not be strange for the pound of uranium to reach $200. What do you think about this? Give me your opinion in the comments. And what does that mean? We would be talking about a fourfold increase in the price of uranium itself. This can easily mean a %8 in companies like Energy Fuels or Denison Mines, which leads me to think that uranium can be today a more profitable investment than cryptocurrencies themselves. However, it must be said that, like cryptocurrencies, it is an extremely volatile market. Those of you who want to participate should keep that in mind, and even in a bull market, there can be corrections of 40%. Those are the things to keep in mind for those of you who want to participate in the uranium market, and by the way, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are liking the video. China wants more nuclear power in the face of its energy crisis and has plans for nuclear expansion, as it did before the crisis. In past videos we had talked about France and its plan to deploy small modular reactors worth €1 billion, but I forgot to comment on something very relevant at a strategic level. 10 EU countries have asked the EU to include uranium and green energies. And these 10 countries are France, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Finland, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, Slovenia and Romania. And this tells us that almost half of the European Union wants nuclear power. Great Britain is no longer in the European Union, but it commented on that as well. It wants nuclear power to be the backup for its energy transition. So we see how nuclear decommissioning seems to be fading away. Another case to comment on the latest news. Australia could also switch to nuclear power. But why? First of all, because they have strengthened the Five Eyes alliance. They have had the AUKUS agreement, which has nuclear submarines involved. Second, because it is a very important producer of uranium. Third, because it has very high carbon emissions. Fourth, because it has only one nuclear reactor within its country. And all these factors, an alliance that has nuclear energy as a protagonist, the need to reduce its carbon emissions and the possibility of obtaining uranium in abundance within its own borders, can cause Australia to become a very relevant country in the field of nuclear energy. Ultimately, I believe uranium can outperform even investments such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, the two major cryptocurrencies.